I am 121 days in now, and men start to hate you, women start to love you. Like all the women that I'm just around now, that I just surround myself with, and that I may have seen like all the time. Like I always see them, but maybe I've never talked to them. They all just want to strike up a conversation with me. They all just want to get to know me. And they do it in a very like caring and loving way, a real fun way. Sometimes a little bit like flirtatious. They'll do it in that sense, but they want to just they sense my energy and want to get to know me more. You know, when I see women and walk by them, they're like real happy to see me. Like I really just put a smile on their face, and like I'm not even doing anything, you know? I'm just saying hi. And they're really like happy to see me, which wasn't always, the case. When I was depleted and when I was super depleted, you feel ignored when you're depleted. You feel like you are just nobody. You're like a ghost walking. Like nobody could sense your presence. Even if you try to talk, even if you try to say hi, they won't even pay you no mind. They'll just keep on going. They'll just keep on walking their merry way, and you're talking to yourself at that point. You're just like, damn, like you just feel embarrassed. And then you just keep your head down the rest of the day and don't talk to anybody else. But so far, 121 days in, and every woman like wants to just talk. Like we just always strike up conversations. And this woman I've either talking to before or even haven't. Like I go to, obviously the same gym all the time. And there's been new women like every single day wanting to talk to me. Whether it's the new desk clerk or whoever it is, they just want to have a conversation. And they're smiling, laughing, giggling. I'm not saying anything inherently funny when I'm talking. Maybe they're laughing at me. Maybe they're like, yo, this guy is an absolute jackass, and they're laughing at me. I don't know. But it's something that I've like really, really noticed. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, the men, they have this like sort of hatred for you. Like it's respect, but like jealousy, I would say. Jealousy is a good word for it. They feel intimidated by you and jealous. They don't know why. I know why, because it's my energy, and they can never obtain this sort of energy because they're not the type of people to ever do that, to ever think on their ideas and take action, you know? So they're very jealous of that. And they don't know that, but subconsciously, deep down inside, they can feel it. And then they start to just not mess with you anymore. People who I've been around for a while, same idea, in the gym, at work, whatever place I'm in. These same people will kind of just like ignore me or want to like not talk to me, like be afraid almost to talk to me. And it's kind of like disheartening. It's kind of like, damn. I mean, the thing is, like the real ones, the ones that are actually like cool people and good people, real good energy, like they're probably not on similar attention, but they're just good energy in general. They'll still want to talk to me, strike up a conversation and all that. But the other people just, man, they just like they feel scared by me. I don't really get it, you know? Like why do you fear me? I'm just I'm just a normal dude, you know? So it's kinda like it feels fucked sometimes and feels a little bit like lonely, but it is what it is. Um as long as I have one side of the spectrum that likes me and loves me and appreciates me, which is a woman, which is great, then fuck it, you know? It's hard. It's a little bit tough though, because I can't just be friends with women and, you know, have a lot of conversations with them and then get their number and all that without it leading down, the path that, like, deep down, my desire, I wanted to lead down that path and, just fuck the shit out of them, like, to be honest. But I know I can't do that. I gotta stay focused. So even though they all love me, like literally all of them, every single woman just is so excited to see me. Like, that's such a good feeling. And for me, like, doing nothing really besides, storing my energy and, putting the work in where they can't see, but they can sense it. Women have this, like, sixth sense all the time that they can tell if you're lying. They can tell, if you're not being, true to yourself. They can sense all these things, you know? So if you're storing up your energy, they can sense that too. Even when I was, training hard, working out, and I looked real good and all, I didn't have the confidence behind me to even, like, approach these sorts of women, to be quite honest. Like, I would get real shy and real in my head because I knew I was, depleted, and I felt that guilt and shame from watching, all that graphic content. So then I would get to the point where I just wouldn't talk to them at all, you know? But only, like, getting deeper on this journey, you're able to just effortlessly talk to them like they're normal people, because they are. They're just, they're like guys, but they're not. You know what I mean? Like, they're just people, man. Like, they do the same things you do. They like a lot of the same things you do. They're just the homies that, you fuck from time to time. But yeah, I gotta really just keep staying focused, because things are going incredibly good for me. Every single day is better and better and better. It's a little bit harder though, every single day, in the sense that, being around my old environment is really getting to me, but I'm at that long stretch moment of it. I'm at the final, like, this is the final moment for me to have my, like, breakthrough moment, is what I feel like in my mind. So I just have to give it the next couple weeks of work, just thug it out like I've done my whole entire life. And then I could finally move to, the new state and get into the flow of just new life over there. And really do what I was born here to do, Just be a free, creative soul. Because that's all I enjoy, I keep going back and forth with, like, I do want to, fuck around with a woman. At some point, I want to experiment with it and try, try to fuck without coming and all that. But I don't know if I'll be able to. So I can't risk it at this point. I have to risk it after I accomplish my goals. Then I could, test it out and try things out and all that. But I'm at this point now already, so I just gotta keep going from here and resist temptations like crazy. But it's so difficult. It's so difficult because the woman energy is just so potent, and they just all want you. Like, that's the best way I could explain it. It's not to be, like, arrogant or anything, but it's more your energy. Like, they want your energy, which is, like, okay. That's not, like, a bad thing on their part, but you just, like, to stay focused and resist temptation when you're thrown constant temptation is incredibly difficult. And this is where most people will fail. Most people will chalk it up to, oh, like they'll rationalize in their mind, like, oh, I found a good woman, you know, and I could just, it's okay for me to release now because I found something greater. I found a good woman, this and that. But you haven't even like tested them all out yet and know which one is the best. They gotta, they gotta battle it out for you. And how could you test that if you can't, have fun with them and do all that? So for you to just stumble across a good woman, I think a lot of people are just coping, you know? They'll get to a point where they just want to be with somebody, they crave that connection, and they might not necessarily want to, nut, but that's what comes with it. So it depends what you want from this journey. Like if you want to find that and that's the plan, okay, I guess, I suppose. But for me, I do this to achieve, just betterment of myself. Like more just mastery of who I am and fulfill my heart. And part of fulfilling my heart is, being with a bunch of women. Being with women in general, that will fulfill some parts of my heart. Absolutely. Because I can show them a lot of love and, really care for them. That's a really nice part of life, to show others love and do all that. But I can't fulfill that part of my heart right now. And it's hurting my heart a little bit, man. Because I have this like Superman complex sometimes where I want to, save them all. I really do. I want to save all these women. But maybe one day I can. I feel like I really can. But you have to be true to your nature. Some men are built to be more just with one woman in a relationship. Maybe they're more in tune with God and are just a better person. But me personally, I don't feel like I'm that good of a person, to be quite honest. I'm kind of a asshole. I'm kind of a selfish just dickhead. And the byproduct of that is that I get to, help people and motivate people and all that. But I do everything for my own, selfish desires and all that. And I'm not looking for some sort of godly woman or anything like that, which a lot of people on this journey do, That's how they say they'll end their streak. Like, if they come across a really just truly godly woman, then they will, they will end their journey because it's worth it at that point. They found the one, they found this. And I believe in soulmates and all that. I really, really do. But for me, I feel a bit like undeserving of, stuff like that specifically. And I'm not going to fight for that if it's not even meant for me, This world, it wants me to be more of just like a player, I guess. Like, it's not by choice, really. When I was younger, all I ever wanted was just like a girlfriend and just like one person I could really count on and rely on and all that good stuff. But as I got older, I realized I'm not even a person that can handle any of that, not yet at least. There's still a lot for me to learn, and it sucks because that would have been a spectacular reality for me, but my heart just craves just success and everything else more, unfortunately. Like, I wish sometimes that I could just be a normal person who, is cool, like, who has a girlfriend, has a good job, has a good, like, stable job, has, like, the mortgage, the car payment, and the dogs, the kids, and all that. I wish sometimes I could have been like that, but that's just not me. That's just not my story. And I kind of like people like that. I do feel some sort of like a bit of jealousy for, because like to be very happy in that scenario, in that state of mind, and satisfied with just being in that world, that must be a lovely feeling. And to be just more ignorant. But I have the capabilities and the mind that I have for a reason. I'm here to help people. I'm here to serve others and not really myself. Even though those might have been my dreams, in a way, like, I, I just couldn't ever get there, man. Like, I wish that I could, but I don't think it's ever the path for me. I think I'm just here to truly just help everyone around me. And that's something that does fulfill my heart, though. Helping other people really does fulfill my heart, because I know I'm just more capable to help others where they might not be able to. The people that I love in my life and all that, they may not be capable to do the things that I will be able to do. So I just have to suck it up and just be the one who just takes on the entire burden, so that others around me are just joyous and happy and can live in more of a blissful environment and be in that heaven state of mind, you know, before they leave this world. For me, like, man, that's a tough video. Yeah. Um, I think that's my purpose. I'm just here to serve. And if I could serve myself in the process, yeah, I guess, sure. So that's why I think the way that I do. That's why being in a relationship and all of that, it doesn't really help me, because it gets me away from my focus of what I need to succeed on and to do to help everyone around me. Because that life sounds amazing, but I have to be the one to help everyone around me. Nobody else is capable. Nobody else is really just sees the way that I do. I've been able to just see past all of it for like my whole life, and that almost took me completely down a dark path, because I saw everything and I didn't know what to do about it. I saw how working a job and doing the mundane life stuff was just not it, and then people around me just didn't see it.